You know, the canal men and the wagoners have got very little good to say about the railroads because it threatens their jobs. So they put it in the words of their song. The railroad's the curse of this country, I vow. It'll ruin us all, and I'm here to say how. They've stolen our freight and taken our horn, and given us canalers good reason to scorn. And the wagoners got their protest song, too. Oh, come out, all you wagoners. Oh, come out, man by man. Who's opposed to the railroad or any such plan? I once made a living a-driving a team, but goods are now hauled on the railroad by steam. May the devil take the feller that invented the plan. It'll ruin us good wagoners and any honest man. You know, they put out a lot of propaganda, too, about the railroads, and the unfortunate thing about it all is that a lot of it's true. But though the railroads may have taken a lot of jobs, there are many, many more jobs needed to finish all the new lines that are starting. There's a road to be made with a pick and a spade, 'tis to reach the Ohio for the benefit of trade. There are mountains to be leveled and valleys to be filled. There are rocks to be blown out and bridges to build. And the railroads were built. It's April 12th, 1862, and these tracks run from Atlanta to Chattanooga, where the Northern and the Southern armies are gathering for a mighty battle. We're in the second year of the Civil War. It's brother fighting brother and father fighting son. The years creep slowly by, Lorena. There's 30,000 miles of railroad tracks in this country now, most of it in the north. But both sides, the north and the south, realize the importance of controlling these vital supply lines. We're at a place called Big Shanty Station in Georgia, and you're about to witness one of the most audacious acts of the Civil War. The crew of the Confederate engine, the General, stops for breakfast at a small boarding house cafe. The conductor, Captain W.A. Fuller, doesn't know that this morning some of his passengers are not what they seem. These men are Northern soldiers led by James G. Andrews, a Federal spy. They're posing as Southerners on their way to Chattanooga to enlist. Their daring plan is to steal the General and escape northward, destroying tracks and bridges to disrupt Southern communications and supply. But Captain Fuller is a stubborn man. He'll pursue them on foot, on a handcar, and finally backwards on the Texas, an engine that he finds at a station facing the wrong way. Stopping to carry out orders, the men on the General hear an engine down the track. The pursued and the pursuers race through the Georgia woods. In a last desperate effort, the men attempt to block the Texas, but they fail. Out of wood and water, the General is losing power. The chase is over. All 20 aboard the General will be captured. James Andrews and 7 of his men will hang. The rest will either escape or be exchanged. The Civil War raged for 4 long years, and then with the burning of Richmond, it was all but over with. Virgil Kane is my name, and I served on the Danville train till Stoneman's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of '65, we were hungry, just barely alive. I took a train to Richmond that fell, and it's a time that I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They sang na 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 na. In 1865, the Civil War was over with. President Lincoln had preserved the Union all right, but he was assassinated within months after the victory. And a young nation that was torn apart by a bitter struggle began to slowly pull itself back together and to start to grow again. And this time, the rails ran westward.